No matter where you are on your journey, welcome. This is Jackie, and you're listening to Personally Driven. So today, I wanted to share one of my favorite things to do that is so calming, so peaceful, and it helps me to be so grateful for nature. So I'm talking about walking in the park. So, oh my gosh, something just so simple as walking in the park. So let me tell you a little bit of what I learned about walking in the park. I was taking a course, and it was a course about happiness, how to have more happiness in your life. I'm all about that, right? About the self-care and having more happiness in your life. So one of the things that they mentioned in this course about having more happiness in your life is exercising. And when we think of exercising, a lot of us think of like weights or running or Zumba, which is one of my favorites, or something like that. But actually, they were saying that psychologists prescribe to their patients that are suffering or dealing with, I will say, I really don't like that word suffering, but who are dealing with depression or anxiety and things in that nature. They recommend that, or they have said in this study that they did, that walking in nature for 30 minutes is as equivalent to taking medication. So in this study, a psychologist did a study where they took so many of their clients that were suffering from depression or anxiety or dealing with that, and had them walk every day for 30 minutes out in nature in the sun on beautiful days, right? So what they found is it helped them to be more grateful, have more gratitude, help them be more grounded, more at peace, not as anxious. And they did not have to take their medication, and they were saying it's just as equivalent. And I can see that though. Like, I think that's just so powerful. But yeah, I can see that. I think that's just awesome. So whenever you're like feeling down, how you have up and down days or things like that, give it a try. Go outside and just walk in nature. Now, so a little bit about myself. So what I tend to do, I go walking in nature. I kind of discovered this while I was out walking. I really just was taking my dog to the park. You all know Sky. I probably talked about Sky on the podcast. She's sitting over there now watching me while I'm recording this. But I was taking Sky out and in the park, and I just love to see Sky out in the park because, like, sometimes I know I'm not supposed to do this. So you park police, don't try to give me a ticket. But sometimes I take her off her leash when there's nobody around so she could just run around, and like you could just see her smiling and just so happy and so excited, right? So anyway, I took her to the park, and then I said, you know what, while I'm here, might as well just walk around the park, walk around the trail or whatever. So I was walking around the park, and I didn't have any music on, because when I first started, I did have music on or whatever, but I didn't have any music on. My phone was on silent, and I'll get into that later. That's another tip that I have for you all, but that'll be on another podcast. But so I was walking around the trail, and it just made me like stop and look, like, how often do you notice the clouds or feel the sun on your skin? You know what I mean? Like, or just listen if the wind is blowing a little bit and just hear the leaves on the trees. Or do you ever notice the sound on sometimes the sound of the leaves sound like rain when you're like really listening? So I can actually see how walking in nature can really make you really just thankful, and just looking at nature and just seeing the beautiful things that are just natural. So yeah, I was walking around in the park and walking my dog in the park, and I started just noticing things that I just didn't pay attention to. It's like I noticed the squirrels. And then you get to just sit. I mean, not sit, but you get to just stare and be observant and aware of what's going on around you, and just be so thankful. Like, I found myself a lot of times when I go walking now, I'm constantly giving gratitude and just being so thankful that I have a nice park near me, and just to see the trees, like looking at the trunks and how thick they are and how slim. I mean, some of them are real tall. Then also the people in the park. Oh my gosh, it's so friendly, saying kind words, like, oh, your dog is so cute. Or like if you see somebody with a cute outfit on, like, oh, wow, I like your sweatsuit or whatever, your sneakers, whatever it may be. But everyone in the park is smiling. Kids are playing and laughing. I even like the swings in the park, right? I was just thinking about that. Like, they have a bench that's on a chain, and it's like a big swing. And like, oh my goodness, when I see couples sitting on the swing together, playing with each other's hair, laughing, like, I'm really trying to think, have I ever been to the park and seen somebody mad? Okay, I just thought of one. Like when people are playing a sport, you might hear some yelling or things like that. But I'm just talking about right now for this podcast, I'm just talking about walking in the park and just really being so grateful and giving thanks for nature. It's just a beautiful thing. So, all right. So, I like to close with a self-care tip or like a stress relief. So this one's going to be a self-care tip, and it's called mindful walking. Right on time, right? So put your cares aside and focus on the moment. Okay. So 1, find some time to take a mindful walk, ideally somewhere with some green space. All right. Like I mentioned earlier, the park would be great, right? Okay. So as you walk, this is number 2. As you walk, don't think about anything else. Just focus on your environment. All right. So number 3, while you're walking, reach out and touch the leaves on the trees, smell the flowers or the plants, and notice the sound of your feet hitting the pavement. Okay? Now, the last tip for self-care. Number 4, tune out all distractions like your cell phone or having a conversation with someone, and reconnect with your natural surroundings. And notice how good this practice makes you feel. I tell you, it does make me feel good. And every time I go out in the park now, I have my cell phone with me because I do keep track of the time of how long it takes me to walk around the park, about 1.5 miles. It depends on how I'm feeling, but I definitely make sure I get in 30 minutes. And yeah, so do that mindful walking and head on over to JackieWashington.com. And remember, Jackie is spelled Jacqui, and leave me a comment and let me know now that you started walking in the park, or when you walked in the park and did mindful walking. How did you feel? I would love to know that. And if this resonates with you and you like to learn more, head on over to JackieWashington.com. You can go ahead and sign up for a complimentary call. Yeah, just so we can chat, get to know each other and things like that. All right. Just fill out the application on the website, and hope to hear from you soon. Thank you so much for listening. I truly, truly appreciate you. And I know that you will enjoy that walk in the park. All right. So until next time, peace.